Okay, all right. First of all, we're really excited to report day. A lot of excitement around the complex. We're going to start practice tomorrow. We've got 2 helmet-only practices, and then we'll get into shells. And during fall camp, we'll scrimmage. 2 good scrimmages. We do have the ability for a third one that's usually kind of put aside for the younger guys. Fall camp goals. Looking at this thing. Our goals are to identify 2 deep by the end of fall camp. We have a lot of transfers. We've got a lot of guys that we're curious to see how they do their development from spring. The second goal is identify the strengths in all 3 phases. We've got a pretty good idea, overall, but we'll definitely define that. And then the bottom line is who we can count on, and that's what I'll be telling our players tonight in our first meeting with that. But we're really excited to get this thing going. Got Boise State here in a short period of time, a very, very quality opponent that's experienced. So we got to have a super camp to get going. Questions?
Coach, I know it was an important summer.
We got a microphone here, so Matt's going to go first here.
Okay.
If you have a question, raise your hand.
Gus, Matt Marshall from Orlando Sentinel. You look at Dylan and what he's done the first 2 years. What sort of development did you see through the summer from him, and what you would like to see for him, maybe like in the leadership role to take on as he goes into this fall camp?
Yeah, this summer, just the leadership part, has really stood out to me. Working on his own. Coaches can't work with guys; they got to work on their own. He had his receivers out there a lot, and just always around the complex. You can tell the urgency is really high for him. I was very impressed with him in spring, like we talked about, but. Really looking forward to him, leading our team.
Coach, it was an important summer, obviously for the strength and conditioning program, working with the new coach Dawson. What was the verdict of how the guys fared in summer workouts?
I think Coach Dawson, first of all, the guys did a great job with him. Just walking down the hall, you can see their bodies are changing. I mean, we need to get stronger. And I think our guys have really done that. We did a lot of running. That was by design too. And so we're really looking forward to seeing how some guys have progressed, not just strength-wise, but speed-wise also.
Coach, real quick, you mentioned Dylan had a great summer. What does he have to do to hit the ground running in your new offense this fall?
Yeah, I think more than anything is just be efficient and protect the football. And, we've got some new guys around him, that either transfers or freshman guys, just seeing who we can count on around him. But, he's a guy that, honestly, we're going to keep developing. He'll keep improving, but we kind of know what we've got with him pretty much with the information from the last 2 years in spring. So just getting the pieces of the puzzle around him is probably the most important thing.
Gus, you talked about building the foundation. You and your coaching staff were trying to do that in the spring. What would you talk about offense? What were your goals? How would you like to see this offense maybe develop in year 1 for you guys?
Yeah, and of course, we want to play fast. We want to play around our quarterback strengths. And, he can flat out throw it. He's got great pocket awareness. We need to be balanced. I mean, I really believe to win a championship, especially play at the highest level, you got to be balanced. So we'll be working hard on that. But he's got a lot of strengths, and we'll try to play to his strengths.
Gus, how far along do you think you are on getting everything installed, getting your systems in, getting everything the way you'd like it to be?
Yeah, I'll answer that question better at the end of fall camp. Spring was just fast. I mean, we got here, we hit the ground running. I think a month after we took the job, we started spring practice, and we were just kind of developing our foundation. These next 2 weeks, when you put in your installs and evaluate. We'll learn a whole lot about what we have, maybe what we don't have, what our strengths are, what we need to build around our strengths, who has stepped up, from the spring, and like I said, with these new transfers too, which we had quite a few of them, see how they fit in, and see how they fit.
Gus, Luke Ketchum, expecting News 13. You obviously have a long relationship with Big Cat Ryan. How has that relationship grown since he's come here?
Yeah, Big Cat, he stepped right in, which I expected him to do that. And, he stepped right in from a leadership role. He's kind of one of those guys that's respected because of what he's done on the field, but he's got leadership ability. He's a hard worker, and I believe he's earned the respect of his teammates in a short period of time. And that didn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, Coach, how are you? Mackenzie Milton said having all the quarterbacks in this state, whether it be Dylan here at UCF, Brady over in Tampa, De'Aaron King, he says having all these quarterbacks around him is motivational. I'm just wondering, the quarterbacks in this state, is there any sort of synergy that can be derived from other quarterbacks in the state?
Honestly, I'm just focused on ours. I mean, that'd probably be a good question to ask Dylan. I know he's a competitive guy, and him and Mackenzie are very close as well. But I'm just focused on Dylan, and we feel like we're blessed to have one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country, not just in this state. So just ready, to watch him do his thing.
Coach, just how acclimated have you become to this area? How much does this feel like your team as you head into this first stretch?
Yeah, I'm getting real comfortable with here. I know how to get home and know how to get to work, and after that I got to take GPS. But I'm really enjoying, living here. As far as the team, you got to go through, those challenges, those struggles before you really learn about each other. So, we'll do as much as we can in fall camp in preparation to put them in game type situations, but there's nothing like the real thing. That's usually the first game or two. That's when everything is very clear, and it'll be a process. That we'll learn about our team, they'll learn about me, and it'll be a process.
Gus, I know we talked about last week a little bit about vaccinations and being prepared for the upcoming season. As a program, have you guys set any sort of protocols in place, how you'll handle players who aren't vaccinated going into this fall camp?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, that's going to be a big factor in success of all teams, how they handled COVID protocols. And the great thing about it is all programs had a year under their belt to get used to it, and we'll do a really good job. We think we got a great plan with how we're going to handle that to keep away from the tracing. That's the one thing you really are concerned about the most. But I think we're in a decent spot, at least going into the season.
Gus, you mentioned you want to take this fall camp to learn about what you have. Seems like you kind of did that a little bit in the spring, because over the summer you guys got a lot of transfers. What were the goal when you were looking in the transfer portal and kind of not picking and choosing, but kind of looking at what you had to get in the transfer portal?
Yeah, well, we in the spring, you're exactly right. I mean, we were learning our guys. We lost quite a few guys that went to the NFL last year. They lost some really good players, and so just trying to see where we're at, see what our immediate needs were. Then the one-time transfer rule all came at the right time, so that's how we built this thing. And most of these guys we were at least somewhat familiar with the transfers, and early in fall camp we'll see how they fit in, and see if they can improve our roster.
Coach, question about the running backs. We noticed yesterday Bentavious Thompson was no longer listed. What's his status, and what's the outlook of the running back position in general? I know you've got a few transfers you brought in during the offseason.
Yeah. First of all, he's no longer with us. We wish him nothing but the best. We do feel like we've got a pretty deep running back room. Really excited to watch those guys and get prepared for the season. Obviously, we took 2 transfers and we got a freshman that came in. So we're really excited to watch those guys do their thing.
Coach, back here, how are you? You keep saying, who can you count on? Why is that so important in a day and age that we live in right now, with the transfer portal and NIL, all that good stuff?
Well, I think it's more of on the field, who you can count on before you get to the game. So as a coach, you put them in as many pressure situations, how they're going to respond to success, adversity, their teammates is so important. When I say who you can count on, it's more about the teammates who you can count on, more than even what the coach is. But so that's just part of the development of a team, especially with a new staff coming in. They're learning their players. That's kind of a natural thing that goes with the territory.
Coach, I just want to get your take on everything that happened in college football last week with Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC, and only time will tell. We'll see if it impacts UCF, but where UCF kind of sits in this day and age.
Yeah, of course, you see, the dynamics, landscape of college football changes on a daily basis. There's a new story every day, and I think that's really good for us. I think we're one of those programs that is very attractive, whether it's our conference now, whether it's the future with other things. I just think we're in a super spot, and so it's real exciting as far as that. But I like the fact that the landscape of college football is changing. I think it's best for the game. I think it's best for the fans, and I think we're in a good spot.
Coach, here in the back, you're no stranger to southeast heat. What's your philosophy on practicing outdoors, indoors? You got the new turf. How will you break that down?
Yeah, I think as much as you can to be outside. It's just a little easier on their legs with the grass, getting used to the heat, especially if you play, early games, early in the season. So we will be outside as much as we possibly can. One thing I have figured out is it rains about every afternoon here, okay? And so, we're strategically practicing in the morning other than Sundays, but, we're blessed to have the new turf and indoor, so if we have to go inside, we'll be okay.
Guys, we talked about the offense. On the defensive side of the football, what are you seeing, your defensive coordinator, Travis Williams, and the players you have coming back? What would you like to expect from that defensive unit?
Yeah, the thing about Travis is he's going to make sure they run the ball, he's going to make sure they tackle. And so, we'll do that as much as we can in fall camp. And then just kind of, who we are. Like I said, we had, 5 transfers defensively that we think that they all have a chance to help and give us that depth. And but it's a very important fall camp for our defense, and Travis understands that, and he's looking forward to it.
Coach, in the NFL and some conferences, there's a certain vaccination rate you have to get, or that they want you to get up to. Do you guys have a certain percentage that you need to get up to, and what's the ramifications if you do and if you don't?
Yeah, we've really tried to educate our players as much as we could. I think we're somewhere around 70%, and so we'll see if that number goes up as it goes. Usually the urgency of everything.
If you get up to a certain percentage, does it help you as far as not getting?
I think more than anything is, I let our guys make a personal choice, and we'll manage that. We'll see. I don't have a number right now like some of the NFL.
So the conference hasn't given you a number like you need to get up to this percent?
Coach, going back to Dylan real quick, you like RPOs a lot. How does he change the RPO game? Because he's such an accurate quarterback, as he's proven over the years.
Yeah, he's great with that RPOs. He's very good when things break down. He's got great pocket awareness, and he throws a great deep ball. So, just letting him do his thing, and but like I said earlier, what stands out to me is this accuracy, and that's really what stood out in the spring. So, as a play caller, that gives you a lot of flexibility when your quarterback's accurate.
Coach, can you speak about the talent of Mark Anthony Richards, the running back? I know he played for you last season, kind of emerged late in the season for you guys. What are your expectations for him in this offense?
Yeah, Mark is a guy that, of course, he was highly recruited. He was a top 100 player, top 50 player, something like that. So he's a very talented young man. He battled some injuries, and I think he's close to being really healthy. So we're just curious to see how he'll respond, but he is very talented.
Another running back, Isaiah Bowser, kind of a bigger back. What does he provide to your running back?
Yeah, very excited about Isaiah. You talk about a guy that started in the Big Ten championship game. He's got experience. He's a big guy. He is another guy that's really, earned his teammates' respect. Really excited to see, watch him on the practice field.
Coach, back on Oklahoma and Texas and that move, are those moves good for the sport of college football?
I don't know about those specific things, but I will say the landscape of college football is changing with conference realignment. I don't think that's a bad thing. The name, image, and likeness, I think that's a good thing for us. Some people have been using the name, image, and likeness before it was legal, so kind of equal things out, with that. And then the one-time transfer rule. I think that's really good for us. We've had great success with transfers in the past. Before we got here, we got some transfers now. So, that landscape changing, like I said, it's good for us. Specifically, those two schools, they better buckle up, I'll tell you that.
Hey, Coach, you added Nate Craig Myers to the roster yesterday. What does he bring to the team?
Yeah, Nate is a guy that obviously I know a lot about, that's played in big games and played well in big games. He's an experienced guy. Just bring some experience, to that room.
Coach, in the back, 2 questions for you. First out, what have been your impressions of Jalen Robinson thus far? And is there anyone on the roster that can do a Gus Malzahn impression?
I don't know. That's a good. Nobody's done it yet to me, but I'm sure they probably have behind my back. Jalen is. He's got a chance to be special. he's been very impressive. He's had a great summer working with Coach Dawson. Heard nothing but great things. He impressed me in the spring too, so really looking forward to watching him.
Coach, one of your more memorable lines from your introductory press conference was you're going to recruit like your hair is on fire. I'm just wondering, like, as you assess your first round of recruiting for UCF, how did it go? Is it exciting just to put that aside and focus on football?
I think our staff's off to a really good start. Now, we were, these 22s were a little behind. We came in here, we're fighting hard with these 22s, really trying to, the 23s and the 24s, that's really the classes that are going to get it done for us. But our staff's done a super job. Since we're able to get recruits on campus, we've got great responses so far. And, the thing about recruiting too is, you recruit and you sell your dream, you sell your vision. Every school does that. But eventually you got to play on the field. And so, we're looking forward to playing on the field, seeing if that matches up with what we've been telling recruits. And then, other teams that have been doing that, they got to play too. So usually once a season starts, the dynamic changes. So we need to play good, and that'll help.
Gus, on that same line, has the reaction to recruits, parents, coaches to UCF to you been what you expected it would be?
I really, I think it's even been better than I expected, and I expected it to be good. But we're in the game with some of the top guys. We're at least in the conversation, and we're fighting a good fight. This is a place you can recruit to. I mean, this is a gold mine as far as recruiting is concerned. We've made some adjustments with some of our facilities. I know Terry's got a great plan for the future with facilities too. So this is a really good spot to recruit to.
Gus, obviously the expectation is to have 100% occupancy in the stadium this season. If stuff changes with the COVID situation, how much of an impact will it be if you have a stadium that's not 100% during the year?
I mean, we're hoping it's 100%. I mean, my mind's on practice tomorrow, to be honest with you, but we're hoping it's 100%.
Two more questions.
Coach, what's the biggest issue you think you want to address during camp? Any position battles that maybe were unresolved from spring or anything like that?
No, I don't think it's one position battle. I think it's just overall learning more about our team, putting them in game type situations, how they respond defensively, offensively, special teams. Because like I said, it was a very fast 15 days in spring. And we did get some information, but just really I'm curious to learn more about our team. So that's what's exciting for me.
Coach, last thing, back to recruiting. You mentioned the 23s and 24s. Do you change the philosophy or the thinking a little bit with those players? Maybe you're in a different conference by then and that changes things, or just try to...
all we can control is what we have now, but we're working hard to develop relationships. And recruiting's relationships. And these 23s, we're working extremely hard. We've had some of the top 23s in the country on campus numerous times, and developing those relationships. 24 is the same way. And like I said, I think everybody knows we're in a good spot for the future, whatever that means. And the recruits, you can just tell they understand that.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.